In 2024, there are still kings and queens in the world, and they still command respect and love from their citizens in their countries. Even though the existence of people with an innate right to rule represents a seemingly outdated system, there are 43 countries in the world that recognize their king or queen as head of state. With 1 year left in the first quarter of the 21st century, how is it that monarchy is still in power? Let's take a closer look in this video from the Knowledge Vault. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to support us. Monarchy is historically an older political system than democracy and republic. The first kings appeared thousands of years before Christ in the Middle East, China, India, the Aztec and Mayan civilizations. Kingship was then considered the basis of security, stability, and social peace. The more powerful the king of a country, the more powerful that country was. A peasant, a noble, or a lord knew that to break the law was to challenge the authority of the monarch. So everyone in the common life was able to behave in an orderly way and to rely on the king's justice. But in today's world, with the concept of human rights, modern laws, courts of justice, parliaments, elected governments, and many other democratic institutions, why do we need kings and queens? People no longer have to rely on one person to seek justice and peace. Serge Schmemann, an expert on international relations for the New York Daily, says that in some cases, monarchs can rise above an elected head of state in the eyes of the people. Especially in difficult times or in times of crisis, monarchs can lead the country in a more unifying way than an elected leader. For example, the Grenfell Tower fire is one of the worst recent disasters in the UK. Instead of prioritizing public safety, the local municipality tried to make the fire brigade more cost-effective, which resulted in its inability to control and extinguish the fire. The inadequacy of the organization was registered with the report prepared after this situation. While the fire that killed 72 people continued, Theresa May, the Prime Minister of the time, made statements defending the fire brigade and never spoke about the victims and those affected by the incident. This caused a huge backlash in the UK. Shortly after the fire, Queen Elizabeth and her grandson, Prince William, went to the disaster area and spoke to and cared for almost everyone. The Queen and the Prince made no promises to anyone, but their concern for those affected made everyone in the UK feel better and calmed the anger at the government over Theresa May. Some rulers who still exist today keep their countries from the brink of civil war and disintegration. Thailand is a case in point when it comes to civil war. Thailand has neighbors such as Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, which have recently experienced a lot of civil unrest and civil war. It also shares the same geography with Vietnam, the scene of one of the bloodiest post-World War II wars. Thailand has, of course, felt the effects of living in such a geography. There have been 12 coups and 7 coup attempts in the country since 1932. Despite all this, they did not experience a real civil war. There was a communist insurgency from 1965 to 1983, which saw guerrilla-level clashes, but they suppressed it in 1983. It is believed that the presence of the Thai royal family kept the country united throughout all this time, and that the insurgents could not find support for themselves. One of the examples that keeps the country together is the royal family in Belgium. Composed of 3 major ethnic groups, Flemish, Walloon, and German, and with 3 official languages, the country is also under the influence of its neighbors France, Germany, and the Netherlands. The emergence of a Belgian national identity from such a fragmented structure and the presence of the Belgian royal family have always been effective in representing this identity. After the elections in 2010, the country was without a government for 541 days. Flemish and Walloons could not reach an agreement due to cultural and economic differences. They experienced the same thing again after the elections in 2020, improving their record and remaining without a government for more than 600 days. In a Europe where the far right is on the rise, this conflict between the 2 ethnic groups poses a great danger to the integrity of Belgium. But the presence of the king somehow keeps the ethnic groups together. In some countries, monarchies ensure the stability of forms of government and prevent the emergence of authoritarian or dictatorial regimes. The Arab Spring, for example, was a social movement of Arab peoples revolting against authoritarian regimes and demanding democracy, freedom, and human rights. Jordan, Morocco, and Saudi Arabia were almost unaffected by the protests that shook the Arabic geography. These three countries had a monarchy, that is a king. Of course, the fact that they were not affected by the demands for democracy and freedom does not mean that the monarchies fulfilled these demands. In some countries, monarchies represent the influence of a country beyond its borders. The best-known example of this is England. England is also the country at the center of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom consists of 4 constituent countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and 16 overseas territories. These 16 territories, which also include Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, are called the Commonwealth of Nations and are home to a total of 2.5 billion people. The head of the British royal family is also the president of these countries. Of course, the influence and dominance of the royal family over these countries is not the same as it was in the days of the British Empire, but the British still have a great influence on world politics and the development of trade networks. Today, monarchies, kings and queens, are seen by some as symbolic and by others as wielding real power behind the scenes. However they are defined, the reasons for their continued existence are based on self-interest or expediency. Although they still exist, monarchs who wield absolute power without accountability are a thing of the past. What do you think about this? I'm waiting for your comments. If you like the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to support my channel. See you in the next video.